Hi all, welcome to Life of Try. So in this series of videos we're looking at going from injury to couch to 5k to getting back into fitness. And we've titled it Ironman to couch to 5k simply because a couple of years ago I was doing Ironman events and we've got to a point where lifestyle, so kids, injury, COVID has happened, which meant I haven't been able to train as much probably for the last 18 months or so. So I decided to do couch to 5k and this is where we are. This is the recap of week 5 and week 6. Unfortunately, we didn't do one last week, simply didn't have enough time to do the video. But it's gone well. And from my point of view, from a fitness perspective, I can feel myself getting stronger, which is great to see. And as an athlete, if you can see clear development and progress from a motivational point of view, that's absolutely brilliant. So we've gone week 5, which was very much run, walk, still that sort of structure of a scenario, into week 6, which starts off running, walking, running, walking. To then the final session of this week, week 6, which is a straight run, which is a 25-minute run, I believe, or maybe a 23. I think it's a 25. But it's the first time where you would have run non-stop from the beginning of the session to the end. Yes, you have a little bit of a warm-up, which is a brisk walk to begin with, but you go straight into it, which is great because over the last couple of weeks, I will admit I've changed the training plan slightly. So as you know, I'm following the Couch to 5k plan. Um, Up until about week 4, going into week 5, I started to alter it slightly based on my needs because I felt I could do that, or I needed to do that. And I haven't changed the amount of time overall that I'm training for, but what I've done is reduced the walk-in sessions in between because I felt that after about a minute I was recovered enough to go again. So whereas week 5 and week 6 were, I think, 5 minutes of running, 3 minutes of walking, 5 minutes, 8 minutes of running, 3 minutes of walking, or something like that. I cut down the minutes of walking down to 1 minute instead of 3. And then I put that time on the running as well. And it's gone well. I feel I'm running comfortably. I'm still not running for any sort of pace, but I do feel that I've gone faster. So it'll be interesting to see how next week goes when you have the prolonged sessions, so 3 sessions of straight running without any breaks in between. So week 7 is 25 minutes of running with no breaks. This is the part of the plan which gets exciting because you can see clear progress, and you know, week 7 is run for 25 minutes and do that 3 times. Week 8 is 28 minutes and do that 3 times within the week, not straight after each other, obviously. And then week 9, it's just the final one, which is run for 30 minutes non-stop. You do that 3 times. That's great, but this is my one criticism of the plan, that I don't believe you should be doing that 3 times a week towards the end. I do believe that interval type session where you're running and walking on mixing up what you're doing makes those last few weeks a little bit more interesting. And also from a performance point of view, you probably see more gains from that. But that's the plan. It's been written by experts elsewhere, so who am I to disagree with it? But it's something to consider, that maybe in the last couple of weeks you don't necessarily need to do those 3 times, you know, the same session as such. Maybe throw something else in there where you are um, going back to that interval type session where you're running hard, or running harder, let's put it that way, than your normal 28 or a 30-minute run. So you're picking up the pace, but you're doing it in 5-minute blocks, or you're doing it in 10-minute blocks. Or at this point, you might want to consider running a distance. So I'll run for half a mile hard. I'll then have half a mile where I slow down the pace, recover, and then go again, and maybe do that. Do that 3 times. But that's something to consider, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to run the full. So this week, week 6 or week 7, sorry, 25 minutes. But I'll only probably do that twice, and then on the other session, I'll do some form of interval training, still for the same amount of time. But yeah, it's definitely something to mix it up, and it's got me thinking that we are coming towards the end of the Couch to 5k. I did set myself a goal of doing a 5k organized race, and I'll probably do a local park run. So we'll see how that goes and look for a local event to do that. But then I got to start thinking about, so what? And for me, the plan was always going to be to stay in running and triathlon. I'll probably look at picking up the next sort of block of training. So I'll probably look to increase up to something like a 10k, if not working towards a half marathon, probably 5 to 6 months time. And that's, the slow progression of building up. You with running, you can't do it overnight. You have to build yourself up slowly. There is a rule of thumb out there that you shouldn't train for more, or you shouldn't see an increase of more than 10% each week. That will vary on your background. That will vary on what you're training for as well. But what I'm trying to say is, don't increase too much too soon, and that's very important. What you can't see at the moment, but we are into the winter nights. I've talked about it in the previous um, videos. So we start our winter days as well, not just the nights, but the nights are dark now. Within the UK, we have we change our clocks, so the evenings become darker sooner. So any opportunity I get to run outside in the day, I take that. But it's got cold, which is important thing to note now, is how you dress appropriately for your winter running. And hats and gloves are brilliant, but you also see people dressed in all sorts running, and it's a personal thing and it's up to you. Personally, what I prefer to do is thin layers and multiple of them, because what tends to happen is the warm air trapped between, or the air trapped between the layers, is what will keep you warm. And it's a lot easier to take off a thin layer rather than if you're running in like a hoodie. It's just one big thick layer. Yes, you're warm, but when you are warm, you've got to take it off. And maybe if you've just got a t-shirt underneath, that's too cold and there's too much of a difference. So thin layers are the way forward. And then it'll be up to you if you're hats and gloves and wearing shorts, or whether you're in long leggings or running trousers. Um, hats off to all you mad people out there that will run in shorts all year round. I'm not that brave, so yeah, if it's a personal thing and you've got to do what works for you. Anyway, that's week 5 and week 6 done. We go on to week 7. It's gone well. At this point now, you should be seeing some difference, and you should see that you are able to complete the sessions. I'm not saying easy, because none of this is easy. Running is never easy. It's relative to where you are. But to now step up and to run non-stop will be a challenge, but hopefully it's a challenge that you can rise up to, sorry. Anyway, that's where we are. I'm looking forward to the next video. Cheers all.